Had that tannoy sound about it. It does. It's weird. Passengers on Air New Zealand flight 423 are advised your service is no longer operating. Okay. Right, team. So welcome, Ralph and Rama, is it? I'm told. Yep. So welcome to the workshop. So thank you very much for accommodating our time change today. We've got quite a few people wanting to speak in public forum. So that was when you were going to be presenting. So we've moved you forward to now, which is useful. And we're live streaming this, so anyone who in the public who wanted to see it has the opportunity to. So floor is yours to bring us up to date with Museum of Kawatiri.
Kia ora koutou. Thank you, Mayor Jamie. That's awesome to have that introduction. So as some of you know, I'm Ralph. I'm the chairperson for the Museum of Kawatiri Trust. And I'm here with Rama Port, our museum manager and curator, today to share what's been happening at the museum and also at the iSite. So thank you for your time and the aforementioned busy agenda that you have today. We've actually, in best practice of keeping to our allotted time, we've put together scripts for this presentation. So I'll be reading for a script today. It's a little different than how I would normally present to a group, but here we go. So just keep me on track, people. In the first place.
Well-laid plans and all that.
Yes.
You've got a bit of time anyway. I don't know how much time you've given, but
yeah. So it's the top button. There we go. Charlotte, are you happy to advance the slides for me? This is. It should be fine. Oh yeah, it's fine. Thank you. Technical difficulties, we can't ever seem to not have them. All right, so as you likely know, the Museum of Kawatiri began its existence as the Coal Town Museum in the old Morley and Company brewery buildings on Upper Queen Street in the 1970s. Since 2013, we have shared a location with the iSite right here on Palmerston Street, next door, and we currently employ 5 staff, and you can see the names of those people on this slide. A couple of us are here today.
It's me.
Yeah. Our award-winning building stands out next to these iconic clock tower chambers, and we're an obvious first port of call for visitors to our region. Our iSite team impart their deep knowledge of local attractions and activities, connecting the dots in a bespoke manner for each patron who entered the doors, wondering where to stay, what to eat, and which places to stay, keeping people in our town longer. We stock a wide selection of clothing, books, jewellery, and varied souvenirs, with plenty for those travelling on a modest budget to choose from. In partnership with Ngāti Waiwai's Pounamu Pathway, we are proud to have evolved into the Museum of Kawatiri, since Weta Workshops planning and renovations concluded at the end of January last year. We're now the northernmost experience in a chain stretching north to south, expanding our themes and stories back into the geological timescales. The new gallery content we have is already attracting a diverse, wider range of visitors to the museum, particularly Māori cultural groups and international visitors. Approximately 1/3 of our museum exhibition space has been completely reimagined by the Weta Workshop renewal. We have dynamic new content spanning geological processes, our unique flora and fauna, First Peoples, and the regional gold rush of the late 19th century, as well as the stories of contemporary West Coasters, long time and more recent alike. The industrial history and heritage content from Coal Town, the early European settler exhibition, is still proudly on display. Since at least the 1970s, we have functioned as a prominent community attic for those choosing to donate their family heirlooms. We care for thousands of paper and other physical artifacts, ranging from business ledgers to original artwork, to slide collections, to massive industrial machines, to ancient taonga, to typical domestic wares of the last 100 years. We need to do more with this collection. We need to promote it to researchers and use it for educational programming. And we need to develop our collections facility to potentially bring more of our heritage home. This is where I'll be passing over to Rama, and she'll speak to our refocused initiatives and ambitions going forward. Thank you, folks.
Thanks, Ralph. Nā mai haere mai. My name is Rama, ko Rama Takuengwa, kei te wharitanga o Kawatiri. Hello and welcome to Kawatiri Museum here on display. I've come on for the last 6 months around about as part of Panami Pathway, Kawatiri. I'm really proud to be here. I started on board with a background in the GLAM sector, so galleries, libraries, archives and museums. I love the GLAM sector, certainly suits me. Been very fortunate here to focus on enhancing our new brand, which is bringing colonial and Māori histories together to tell the stories of Te Taipatini and the West Coast. After 7 years in public programs, visitor services and education at Canterbury Museum, coming in with some fresh eyes, I could see that these programs were missed opportunities in our region. Over the last few months, I've been working hard to bring some of these new programs to Kawatiri Museum. We've opened a temporary gallery space, a pop-up museum exhibit space, which is called Wakahuia, so it's treasure box. And this has been instrumental in providing a showcase for some of these unseen artefacts from our collections and adding new stories. Here you can see the exhibit opening, Rāranga Weaving, which has showcased an amazing Māori rain cloak from our collection. This is extremely rare, this pake, to see in a museum nationally and internationally. Still on display, so you've got to Easter to see that too if you like. The exhibits also showcased live weaving, traditional Māori music and te ao Māori, Māori worldview as part of Waitangi celebrations, bringing provenance around the Panami Pathway, the history of Westport's First Peoples, and to experience Westport Māori today with local artists and teachers participating over a month within the new Wakahuia gallery space. I've got over 15 years experience as an educator and learning specialist. I'm a trained and pre-registered secondary teacher in art history, libraries learning and museum studies teacher. And I've worked across some amazing cultural centres in Aotearoa Christchurch over the years, including Scape, which is a public arts sector, Canterbury Museum as an educator, and Christchurch City Council Libraries as a learning specialist. So I really wanted to bring some of that experience to Kawatiri and began cross-training with some of the staff here in the Kawatiri Museum. We've brought some education and tour programs to the museum, designing an annual education program and taking live tour groups with curriculum enrichment at the forefront of these experiences, focusing on the new New Zealand Histories curriculum and science social studies focus groups. So you can see here some of the programs that we've started to bring into Kawatiri Museum. Public programs, a lack of marketing public programs has meant that we're not really engaging local audiences, particularly over busy periods like public holidays, school holidays. The new rebrand really also left us with little to no marketing or public exposure. So from these new activities, we really wanted to turn it and transform it into a hub of learning from a static space. These are some initiatives that we've already started to begin, and we've got the Easter Mo'i coming up. If we pop to the next one. And then watch the space. So this is a little bit beyond those. So following on the public programs and visitor services initiatives that I've been working on, which have very low budgets. I prefer shoestring budgets. So these constraints have really limited us in funding, and we're really working to then connect with other institutions and provide services that are above our funding level. These include local businesses like Epic and wider support from Canterbury Museum and Te Papa to bring some of these museum standard exhibits to Westport. These include tech that we're not really capable of providing ourselves. So watch this space as we seek to bring big museum displays like the colossal squid to Westport. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay.
So we'll go to questions. Councillor O'Keefe.
Hi guys, that was amazing, and yeah, I probably should spend more time there. That was great. Just a couple of cool questions. I have been working with Jackie and Lan as well in the historical archaeological. So I'm sort of working in the Northern Bulla. Yes. So I just wanted to know how are you linked with the Northern Bulla Museum out there, and also how do you with the eyesight, how do you keep up to date with events and happenings in the Northern Bulla region? Like how do you how do you seek information when visitors come in there and ask for things like what is happening in the Northern Bulla and the likes?
Well, Pounamu Pathway itself has really given us some links with the outer regions. So we're the most northern part. We're actually the second experience centre on the trail of the Pounamu Pathway. So they're still building this.
Right.
So we are looking forward to, I think Friends is the next one to open, and Hokitika is going to be next.
Yeah.
And we've also linked in through Ngāti Waiwai with the Punakaiki Centre. So they're all kind of on the same lane.
Mm-hmm.
So the links are there.
Yeah.
Mostly it's through word of mouth in Westport,
Okay, right.
but certainly we're trying to work on a lot of our marketing.
Yes.
So like I said, little to no promotional at this point.
Yeah.
And so we have been just really outreaching ourselves, doing tours, running groups through ourselves,
Yeah.
so that they can meet us and exchange.
We have a great relationship with Curator Derek Lord and Charlotte May. So they've actually received specimens from our assemblage,
Right.
and reinterpreting them in their space too, including props and some original historic specimens as well. So yeah, we have a informal relationship with them at present, but it's one that's growing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Also too, the museum up in Karamea as well. Do you have any sort of relationship with them?
Yeah, I less so with the Centennial
Yeah.
Museum at this stage.
Yeah.
They do have some really important taonga at that particular institution, from sites contemporary to the Kawatiri site here in Carter's Beach. So that's another place that's on our radar, but less boots on the ground at this stage.
Thank you. Yep.
Of course.
Councillor Weston.
Mr. Mayor, yeah, just a couple of questions. With the Carter's Beach diggings, how much is actually back in Westport and how much is able to be shown?
We've got a lot of very important pieces.
Yeah.
So I would say we've got some of the most amazing taonga on display already, and a lot of the smaller pieces like flakes are things that we haven't got. There is still some things there, isn't there, Ralph, that we could actually
so the
really bring in and showcase.
Dr. Richard Walter, who's now emeritus status at the University of Otago, his team are still, a SPAR team, South Pacific Archaeology Research Team, are still curating approximately 100 to 110 banker boxes, standard cube boxes of taonga from that assemblage. If we want to bring those home to Westport, to Kawatiri, we would need secure a climate-controlled storage environment for those objects. So, and that's a process that will be negotiated through Ngāti Waiwai and Ngāi Tahu more broadly. But it is also on our radar, so it's something we've clearly been thinking about. But yeah, right now in our gallery, you can see both artifacts collected by the university digs 20 years ago, as well as some other specimens found by local families and farmers, more particularly the Walsh and Brunning families and years earlier. So
It's an amazing collection.
yeah,
one of the
world-class, yeah.
one of the world-class collections of archaic Māori collections in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So Marlborough site, if anyone's aware of the Marlborough region.
Wairo Bar.
Yeah, the Wairo Bar. It's one of the oldest, and this is really on par with that. So it's amazing to have these taonga on display. We actually did just repatriate some taonga from Australia. So we've just had a huge return there of some taonga that we're currently working with Ngāti Waewae to sort of classify at this point.
Yeah, and just one other, apparently there's a couple of waka that are still buried out there
I would love to see
At
some
Kawatiri?
digs, yeah.
at Carter's Beach.
Yeah, all right, that's cool.
They may find all sorts of things. It's a really special site.
Yeah.
Councillor Howell?
I just know some place because you appear to be having a higher conversion rate from visitors to the eyesight into visitors into the museum. Would that be a correct assumption?
Certainly, you would see a percentage go into the museum, but the eyesight is probably the main draw card for most people going in there. They see the eyesight at the front, and there's plenty of services there for tramping, biking, the shop. Some people do come directly into the museum, but we certainly work with them to bring people that do visit us, particularly on rainy days, as a service to come through the museum. A lot of people do love the Coal Town history as well. They've got families. We get a lot of people coming in directly for those family links too.
Yeah.
But certainly the eyesight sees a lot of people come in. They might come off the bus just to use the toilet. So people come in for all sorts of reasons into the eyesight, and we get a certain percentage.
Yeah, I would say of our domestic tourism sector, a lot of people come to Westport. We direct them to the Denniston Ruin and the Cape and Tauranga Bay, and often now we're also saying, please check out the Coastal Kawatiri Trail to check out the whare, the Ngāhue whare, and learn more about the archaeology that's partly on display at Museum of Kawatiri. So yeah, I would like to think our conversion rate is up a bit. But
I think it's pretty good for the amount of entries coming into the eyesight, yeah. Certainly a lot of people that are going into the eyesight aren't there to see the museum, but then they'll see the museum there and ask questions about it and go in. But it's really just part of the experience on offer.
Yeah.
We get a lot of bus tours come through and a lot of school groups come through. So the new education programs and tours we're running, we're seeing at the moment since December, we've had about 500 extra from that, and we'll probably see about 1,000 with these new programs. So that's going to add quite a bit onto our figures.
So the funding from that, I was sort of thinking, given that the council subsidises quite heavily the information centre and the museum and
Yes.
that more sustainability sort of objectives. So these public programs, how are they funded or partly funded?
So yeah, very small funding. So we have to keep them low. So they are low budget, but certainly we're doing our best. Wakahuia was a new cabinet display that we'd purchased. I think you could probably say a little. How long ago was that, Ralph?
we commissioned and purchased a new exhibition case on wheels to match the fit out of the Coal Town exhibition gallery several years ago. And that was in advance of really knowing what Weta Workshop would deliver to our space. And that's finally come into use. So
we've utilised that. So we're utilising everything really at our disposal.
Yeah.
And then that's going to be a temporary space where we can display all these different taonga and different stories. We're looking at about 3 a year annually is what we can turn over there, and that will help with marketing and also education groups that can come in and see things like rāranga weaving. So that opened up a whole new type of education classes, new type of stories, but it also really enhanced what we had on display there as Parami Pathway. A lot of the taonga actually has got a history with rāranga, with weaving, being found with these these things that have disintegrated but are still part of the history of this taonga. So a lot of that really wasn't going to get told unless we brought out some of the collection.
But in addition to paid admissions that you're mentioning, Joe, we're also tracking free of charge entries now and getting demographics around those recorded at the front end in the eyesight, so we can better assess demographics that are being underserved by our current operating model. There's definitely a tendency for our visitor to be, retirement age. And so we're trying to, traditional retirement age. So we're trying to broaden beyond that, and getting school kiddies in at least gives their families some exposure to what we have, and they might think to come back a second time as paid admissions in the future. So it's really just broadening who we serve in this region, in this community. Yeah.
Just going back to one of the questions I didn't quite get answered. So it says here you've got 8,000 visitors going through the door at the eyesight.
That's in summer.
In summer. So
Just summer.
where do you send these people, and where do you get the information of where to send them to?
Yes.
Like, so if you're giving them information, say for example, we have an information centre at the Ngakawa Hall. We've also have an information centre in Karamea as well. Does that information centre link in with them?
Yes. Yeah, no, that's so, we've got really experienced staff in the eyesight, Carol Hawes and Debbie Nells,
Yeah.
as well as Gracie and Rama and I, who are, all learning the ropes over time. But yes, no, there's not only word of mouth for those other regions, but we have all sorts of traditional media like pamphlets and maps that we distribute to those other centres. And we have plenty of, if people are looking to book an underworld adventure in Charleston, we can do that for them. If people want to do something in Reefton and want to learn about it, we have that information at our fingertips. We can give it to those patrons coming through the door.
Okay.
So yes, we do completely interface with other visitor centres, and we're coming up on.
So that's through IBIS, which is an eyesight program that they also can do all the bookings, flights across New Zealand.
Yeah.
So certainly there's a wide range that they offer. We have had tours come through. So we had the Reefton, it's not the eyesight anymore. What is it called? The
Visitor Centre.
Visitor Centre. So we had the Reefton Visitor Centre ladies come in and who are familiar with us.
Yeah.
And we do the same. We kind of go through, and they wanted to hear about our museum and how they could promote it, and we kind of do the same. So a lot of it is through time and experience and just talking to people, and then visiting staff and hearing what the stories of each region is really about.
Okay.
Yeah, we're aware the eyesight brand is a long-lived one in New Zealand.
That helps.
Yeah, but it still has cachet, and this location is, it's the jewel in the crown, I would argue, of real estate here on Palmerston Street. It's an attractive, building. It's very easy to locate, and we imagine, based on other museums around the country, that the flow-on effect of having people stop and linger is significant to local businesses, the for-profit businesses. Again, we're a not-for-profit charitable trust. So, we imagine that a lot of the cafes and small shops in town do benefit by just having those people, those patrons here a bit longer.
Awesome. Oh, Councillor Sampson.
I sort of took on just what you said about people lingering.
Yes.
I'm from Karamea, and I haven't heard you mention Karamea. And we do have a lot up there, and it has always been promoted that we support eyesight, send people up to Karamea, because it means they're going to spend longer within the bulla.
Yeah.
And all the way up, as Tony's alluded to, in the Northern Bulla, they have the opportunity to sort of see and come back.
Yeah.
So that's quite important that you promote that a bit more. And as you said about the tonga, the Karamea Museum has got some quite remarkable pieces, and the Hifi was the area that came from. So, and the Okarara it's a lot. And I thought some of your people had been up.
Yeah, we actually had a famil from 3 of the staff just recently come and see the new caves and go on a caving tour. So it's things like that where we can get on the ground advice and actually give it and be really true to our visitors. And certainly we hear a lot from Karamea about how we are sending people their way. But I mean, museums and eyesights, we're a small sector, so we all help each other out. We tend to know each other and certainly offer support to each other as we go.
Being so far away, it just means so much more being spent on fuel.
I know. The cost of living challenges right now are throughout all of the sector, from aviation to, museum admissions. One thing you probably noticed is under the Museum of Kawatiri banner, we are asking more as a standard admission now, and we're getting a fairly good conversion of people, probably a lot of our out-of-district and international visitors paying that additional cost, which at one stage no one thought would be practicable. So it does look like people are willing to pay $25 an adult to visit our gallery. We're happy about that. But we're also trying to better track who those people are, where they come from, within reason,
We've found the visitors now, they're more discerning and they want an interactive experience, which is part of the Panami Pathway offerings, really. People want to be a bit more entertained. And they want to come out with photos for themselves and they want to be able to put it up on Facebook. So you've kind of got that entertainment factor that museums probably didn't really used to be a part of. Libraries are also following that same trail. It's offering things, it might be night services or it might be sort of come along and meet different people, speakers. So it's really sort of engaging those different types of people and bringing them all in so we can sort of tap into each group and make sure we're offering to all of those different types of people. But certainly they're willing to pay more, but they do expect more on our end as far as the interactive experience.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you. That's been very informative and good update. Good work. That's quite a new, it's a snappy package you've put together to display what you've been up to and things as well, which is really good. So thank you very much.
Many of you will know Frances O'Brien. So she and Carlos have put this excellent presentation together, and hopefully you've all got a copy now as well. I know it's a 20 meg file size, but we also have more we can distribute as needed, and we encourage you folks to come and visit and spend some one-on-one time with Rama and myself too, here and there, and we can definitely let you in on more of what we're hoping to do at the Museum of Kawatiri. So. And awesome. Carol and Deb in the eyesight made it clear that they're willing to also make their case for what they do going forward. So don't feel like you can't just drop in and have a yarn to them as well around all of this. So we did a very brief summary. So
Excellent. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, so we'll end that live stream, and we've got another wee break while they reset the room for full council at 3:30.